The patrol ships glided through the darkness of space, their blue engines pulsing softly against the starlit background. It was supposed to be another quiet day for the Galactic Council's border patrol. Officer Reed checked his instruments one more time, his gray fingers dancing across the glowing controls. After 20 years of service, he had grown used to the emptiness of the outer rim. A red light flashed on his console. Reed blinked his large eyes twice, not sure if he could trust what he was seeing. An unknown ship had appeared at the edge of their sensor range. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of their patrol vessels, with a design that made no sense to his experienced eyes. The ship was dark, almost black, with sharp angles that seemed to reject the very concept of the smooth, curved designs used by every known species in the Council. "Command, this is Patrol 7. Reed spoke into his communicator. "We have detected an unknown vessel in Sector 496, requesting guidance." The response came quickly. "Proceed with standard first contact protocols. Send the peace signal and maintain safe distance." Reed's partner, Officer Green, began broadcasting the universal greeting, a simple pattern of light and radio waves that had worked for peaceful first contact with every known species for the past 1,000 years. They waited. The unknown ship remained silent for several moments. Then, without warning, it moved. Reed had never seen anything accelerate so quickly. The vessel's motion was precise, deliberate, like a predator that had been studying its prey. Before he could react, the ship had positioned itself between the 2 patrol vessels. "By the stars," Green whispered, "look at those weapon ports." The strange ship's hull was dotted with what appeared to be weapon systems, but of a design Reed had never encountered. They weren't the standard energy projectors used throughout the galaxy. These looked more primitive, more brutal, more effective. Reed's hands shook as he activated the emergency broadcast. "Unknown vessel, this is the Galactic Council Border Patrol. Your design is not in our database. Please identify yourself and state your intentions. We mean you no harm." The response came in perfect Council standard language, but the voice was different, deeper, filled with a confidence that sent chills down Reed's spine. "This is the Thunder of Terra, warship of the Human Defense Fleet. You are currently approaching space claimed by human colonies. We have recorded multiple instances of Council vessels entering our territory without permission. This stops now." Reed and Green exchanged worried looks. Humans. There were no records of such a species in the Council database. And what did they mean by claimed by human colonies? The Council had surveyed and distributed all habitable worlds in this sector centuries ago. There must be some mistake. Reed transmitted. "All worlds in this sector are registered with the Galactic Council. We have no record of any human colonies." "Your records," the Thunder of Terra responded, "are incomplete. We have evidence of Council members systematically absorbing our outer colonies while denying our existence. Consider this your only warning. The next Council ship that approaches a human world without permission will be treated as hostile." Reed tried to remain calm. "Please understand, we need to verify your claims. If you could just come with us to the nearest Council station." He never finished the sentence. 2 brief flashes of light erupted from the Thunder of Terra. Reed watched in horror as precise streams of metal, actual physical projectiles, tore through their engines. Not the clean burns of energy weapons, but devastating kinetic impacts that shredded metal and circuitry. "Your engines have been disabled," the Thunder of Terra announced. "Your life support remains intact. A rescue vessel will find you within the hour. Tell your Council this. Humanity has watched from the shadows long enough. We know what you've been doing to our people. It ends today." Before Reed could respond, the massive warship seemed to stretch for a moment, then vanished in a flash of light. Some form of faster-than-light travel that didn't match any known Council technology. As Reed and Green waited for rescue, floating helplessly in their crippled vessels, they realized that everything was about to change. The galaxy had grown comfortable, peaceful, ordered under Council law. But now something new had emerged from the unknown regions of space, something that didn't play by their rules, something that had been watching, waiting, and preparing. Humanity had arrived, and they were nothing like the Council had ever encountered before. News of the thunder of Terra spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Trading ships changed their routes. Passenger liners doubled their security. Even pirates and smugglers avoided certain sectors of space, fearful of encountering the mysterious human warship. Admiral Gray stood on the command deck of the Thunder of Terra, watching the stars through the reinforced viewing window. His weathered face reflected in the glass, showing the lines earned from 30 years of military service. The ship's dark metal hull absorbed nearby starlight, making it almost invisible against the backdrop of space. "Admiral," his second-in-command spoke up, "we've detected another colony signal, planet D455. According to our records, we had 2,000 settlers there 5 years ago." Gray's jaw tightened. "And what do the Council records say about D455? "They're calling it New Haven, claimed by the Blue Star Alliance 3 years ago. Listed as uninhabited when they found it." "Uninhabited." Gray's voice was quiet but filled with controlled anger. "Show me the settlement scans." The main screen lit up with orbital images. There, plain as day, sat the human colony. But it had been changed. New buildings surrounded the original settlement, and the humans now wore Blue Star clothing, used Blue Star technology. They had been absorbed, their identity erased, their history rewritten. "Send the standard message," Gray ordered. Minutes later, the Blue Star governor's face appeared on the screen. His blue-tinted skin paled when he saw Gray. "This is a Council-protected world. You have no authority." 2,000 human colonists, Gray interrupted, "arrived 5 years ago on the ship's Hope and Future. You found them 3 years ago and gave them a choice: integrate or suffer an unfortunate accident in space. Sound familiar?" The governor's face shifted through several shades of blue. "These are serious accusations. We have no record of any human settlement." The thunder of Terra's weapons came online with a low hum that could be felt through the deck plates. Gray didn't make threats. He didn't need to. The ship's reputation spoke for itself. "You have 24 hours, Gray stated. "Return their original technology. Restore their communication systems. Acknowledge their status as an independent human colony, or we will do it for you." The governor started to protest, but Gray cut the transmission. He had given the same speech 12 times in the past month. Some colonies had been absorbed for decades, their people forced to hide their human identity. Each discovery made his blood boil, but he maintained his composure. Humanity hadn't survived centuries of isolation by losing control. "Sir," his second-in-command reported, "we're getting signals from 3 other colonies in nearby sectors. They're breaking their silence. The Thunder's presence is giving them courage." Gray nodded. This was exactly what Earth Command had hoped for. The appearance of one powerful human warship had created a ripple effect. Hidden colonies were reaching out. Council species were beginning to realize that humanity wasn't just a myth or a minor civilization to be quietly absorbed. A warning light flashed on the tactical display. 6 Council ships had just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Not patrol ships this time. Actual warships. They were keeping their distance, but their message was clear. The Council was done playing nice. Gray allowed himself a small smile. Let them come. The Thunder of Terra was humanity's first warship to reveal itself, but it wasn't their only one. Hidden shipyards throughout human space had been producing vessels like this for decades, preparing for the day when humanity would need to stand up for itself. "Your orders, sir," his second-in-command asked. "Set course for the colony. Standard defensive position. If they want to learn why humans became so good at warfare during our isolation, we'll be happy to teach them." The Thunder of Terra moved with deadly grace, its black hull reflecting no light, its weapons ready but not armed. It was a shield, not a sword, a guardian for those who couldn't protect themselves. The Council was about to learn that humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage wasn't a diplomatic incident to be managed. It was an awakening that would change everything. Bluescale sat in his dimly lit analysis chamber, surrounded by floating screens showing intercepted human communications, historical records, and military reports. As the Galactic Council's chief analyst, he had studied countless species, but humans were different. The more he learned, the more his scales turned pale with worry. He tapped one screen, bringing up footage from a human historical archive. Ancient humans, wearing nothing but simple cloth wraps, chasing large animals across vast plains. They didn't kill their prey quickly. They followed it for days, walking upright under their burning sun, tracking, pursuing, until the creature collapsed from exhaustion. Persistence hunters, he muttered, adding another note to his report. They evolved chasing prey until it gave up. Everything about their psychology comes from this. They never stop, never give up, just keep coming until they achieve their goal. The next screen showed their wars. So many wars. While other species fought over resources or territory, humans fought over ideas, beliefs, even different ways of organizing their societies. They split into groups, fought themselves, learned from each other, grew stronger. When they finally unified, they didn't stop preparing for war. They just focused those preparations outward, toward the stars. Director, Bluescale's assistant, entered the chamber. The Council is waiting for your report. Minutes later, Bluescale stood before the Council members, his presentation ready. Honored members, my analysis of human civilization has revealed disturbing patterns. They are not like us. Their entire history is marked by constant conflict and adaptation. He showed them the humans' early nuclear weapons. Look at this. They developed planet-killing weapons before they had reliable spaceflight. Any other species would have destroyed themselves. But humans, they built enough weapons to destroy their world several times over, then used that very threat to maintain peace among themselves. They turned the fear of total destruction into a tool for stability. The Council members shifted uncomfortably as Bluescale continued. Their technology is, primitive isn't the right word, different. While we focused on energy weapons and shield harmonics, they perfected kinetic weapons and stealth systems. Their ships don't need to be invisible. They absorb or deflect our scans in ways our sensors can't handle. The Thunder of Terra isn't just a warship. It's a product of centuries of humans preparing for the worst possible first contact scenario. Surely they can be reasoned with, one Council member suggested. Every species responds to diplomatic. You don't understand, Bluescale interrupted, forgetting protocol in his urgency. I found their entertainment broadcasts. They're fiction. For centuries, they've been imagining meeting alien life. And in most of their stories, it doesn't go well. They prepared for the worst because they spent generations telling themselves the worst could happen. He pulled up the footage of the Thunder of Terra disabling the patrol ships. Those weren't warning shots. That was a demonstration. They hit exactly what they aimed at, nothing more. A species that evolved from persistence hunting, that survived nuclear brinkmanship, that spent centuries preparing for hostile aliens, and we've been quietly absorbing their colonies, erasing their presence from our records. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Bluescale delivered his final analysis. The Thunder of Terra isn't a threat. It's a message. Humans survived their violent past, not by becoming peaceful, but by learning to control and direct their capacity for violence. They're not attacking us. They're showing us exactly how much damage they could do if they wanted to. Your recommendation? The head counselor asked quietly. Stop. Stop everything. Return their colonies. Acknowledge their independence. The alternative. Bluescale's scales paled even further. The Thunder of Terra is just one ship. Think about what their entire fleet could do if they decided to really show us why they spent centuries preparing for war. As if to emphasize his point, another report came in. 3 more human colonies had revealed themselves, protected by the thunder of Terra's presence. And there were rumors of other human ships, moving in the darkness between stars, waiting. The Council had thought they were slowly absorbing a primitive scattered species. Instead, they had awakened something that had spent its entire existence learning how to survive against all odds. Humanity wasn't just joining the galactic community. They were rewriting the rules of how it worked. The thunder of Terra emerged from faster-than-light travel near Colony World 317, its dark hull blocking out the light of the system's twin suns. Captain Stone stood at the command center, having taken over while Admiral Gray attended an emergency meeting with Earth Command. The planet below them was officially listed as New Progress in Council records, but their intelligence was clear. Over 5,000 human colonists lived on its surface, hidden among the alien population. "Sir," his sensor officer reported, "we're detecting 12 orbital defense platforms, energy weapons, missile batteries, and they're powering up." Stone didn't react. He'd expected this. Colony World 317 was controlled by the Red Crown Empire, one of the more militant council members. They wouldn't give up their claim without a show of force. The local governor's image appeared on the main screen, his red-tinged skin almost glowing with anger. "This is a sovereign world of the Red Crown Empire. You have 30 seconds to retreat, or we will open fire." Stone's voice remained calm. "Governor, we have proof of human colonists on your world. According to galactic law, settling an inhabited world without proper notification is illegal. We're here to correct this oversight." "There are no humans here," the governor snapped. "This is your final warning." Stone sighed. They always chose the hard way. He opened a channel to all frequencies: military, civilian, and emergency bands. "Attention all citizens of Colony World 317. This is Captain Stone of the human warship Thunder of Terra. What you are about to witness is a demonstration. Please observe your orbital defense grid." He nodded to his weapons officer. "Execute Pattern 3. The Thunder of Terra moved, not with the raw speed it was capable of, but with deliberate, almost graceful precision. 12 bursts of light erupted from its hull, so close together they looked like one continuous beam. Each defense platform's shield flickered for exactly 2.3 seconds before failing. Then came 12 more shots, each one striking the platform's communication arrays. In under 3 minutes, the entire defense grid was blind, deaf, and powerless, but completely intact. "As you can see," Stone continued, still broadcasting on all frequencies, "we could have destroyed your defenses. Instead, we disabled them. No casualties, no permanent damage. This is how humans wage war, Governor. We believe in showing strength through precision and restraint." The governor's face had lost its red tint, turning almost pink with shock. This is impossible. Our shields were designed to stop energy weapons and missiles," Stone finished for him. "Our kinetic rounds pass through shield harmonics like they aren't even there." An old human saying. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. "You can't expect us to just." "We expect you to follow galactic law," Stone interrupted. "We have transmitted proof of human settlement to your government and the Galactic Council. You have 24 hours to acknowledge their presence and grant them equal status. After that, we disable your ground-based defenses, just as precisely, just as carefully. Because that's what humans do. We escalate slowly, deliberately, giving you every chance to make the right choice." The governor started to respond, but Stone wasn't finished. "And Governor, those colonists you've been pretending don't exist. They've been recording everything, every threat, every accident that happened to humans who didn't integrate quickly enough. We have it all. The only question is whether those records become public." Stone waited exactly 10 seconds before delivering his final point. "The Council thinks we're violent because we spent centuries preparing for war. The truth is, we spent centuries learning how to avoid war by being too capable at it to ignore. You have 24 hours to show us which lesson you've learned. The transmission cut off. Stone watched the planet below, remembering his own family's stories of hiding their human identity on a different colony world. But those days were over. The Thunder of Terra wasn't just a warship. It was a symbol of humanity's emergence from the shadows. His communication officer spoke up. "Sir, we're receiving transmissions from the surface. Thousands of them. The colonists, they're not hiding anymore. They're celebrating." Stone allowed himself a small smile. Sometimes the best victory wasn't destroying your enemy's defenses. It was showing them that you could, but choosing not to. That was the real power of the Thunder of Terra. Not what it could destroy, but what it could protect. The Galactic Council's emergency chamber buzzed with nervous energy as hundreds of representatives gathered. On the main display, tactical readings showed the movements of their newly assembled containment fleet. 50 of the most powerful warships in Council space gathered to deal with what they now called the human problem. Admiral Gray watched them from the Thunder of Terra's command deck. The Council had demanded this meeting, insisting his ship come alone to their coordinates. They thought they were springing a trap. Gray knew better. He had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. "They're hailing us," his communication officer reported. The Council leader's image appeared on screen, backed by the impressive sight of their gathered fleet. "Admiral Gray, your actions have caused considerable disturbance in Council space. This ends today. Surrender your vessel and prepare for boarding." Gray's weathered face showed no emotion. "Interesting proposal. I have a counteroffer." He nodded to his tactical officer. "Show them." Across Council space, hundreds of sensor stations suddenly detected new signals. The Thunder of Terra wasn't humanity's only ship. It was just the first to reveal itself. One by one, human warships dropped their stealth fields. They appeared everywhere, near major trade routes, overlooking core worlds, protecting newly revealed human colonies. 30 ships, each as powerful as the Thunder of Terra, each positioned with strategic precision. "Did you really think," Gray's voice was calm but carried an edge of steel, "that humans would survive centuries of isolation without preparing? That we would build just one warship? The Thunder of Terra wasn't sent to fight. It was sent to wake up our people, to show them they didn't have to hide anymore." The Council leader's face paled. This is an act of war." "No," Gray corrected. "This is a demonstration of why starting a war with us would be a mistake. Your 50 ships are impressive, but look at their positions. Really look." The tactical display told the story. Each human warship was positioned to neutralize key military and economic targets across Council space. They hadn't just revealed themselves. They had already won any potential conflict before it could start. "While you were busy absorbing our colonies," Gray continued, "we were studying you, learning your patterns, positioning our forces. We could have struck at any time. Instead, we sent one ship to give our people hope and give you a chance to make the right choice." The Council chamber erupted in chaos as more representatives realized the truth. Humanity hadn't just built a fleet. They had executed a centuries-long strategic plan. "Your containment fleet is impressive," Gray acknowledged, "but they're exactly where we want them, gathered in one place, away from anything they could actually protect. We didn't come here to fight. We came to show you why fighting us would be pointless." A new signal caught everyone's attention. From the darkness of space, an even larger ship appeared near the Council fleet. Its hull bore the markings of Earth Command, humanity's true flagship, the Guardian of Sol. "That's impossible," someone in the Council chamber whispered. "Our sensors would have detected." "Your sensors detect what they're designed to detect," Gray explained. "We designed our ships to exploit the gaps in your technology. Every time you absorbed one of our colonies, we learned more about your capabilities. And now," he let the silence hang for a moment before continuing, "now you have a choice. Continue treating us as a problem to be contained, or accept that humanity is ready to join the galactic community, not as subjects to be absorbed, but as equals to be respected." The council leader looked at the tactical display again, watching as more human ships revealed themselves near strategic locations. Their containment fleet, meant to trap one warship, was now the one surrounded. Perhaps, the council leader said carefully, we should discuss terms for diplomatic recognition of human sovereignty. Gray allowed himself a small smile. This was why humans had waited, watched, and prepared. Not to conquer, not to destroy, but to ensure that when they finally stepped onto the galactic stage, no one could ignore their right to exist as equals. The discovery changed everything. Deep in the council archives, hidden behind layers of security and mislabeled files, Bluescale found the truth. His hand shook as he read the ancient records, finally understanding why humans had been kept isolated for so long. The council chamber was silent as he presented his findings. Admiral Gray and Captain Stone stood to one side, representing humanity. The Guardian of Sol hung in space above the council headquarters, a reminder of humanity's newfound power. 3,000 years ago, Bluescale began. A species called the Builders dominated our galaxy. They were the ones who established the council, who set up our laws about peaceful expansion and limited military forces. We thought they left for another galaxy. We were wrong. He displayed ancient star charts showing Earth and its surrounding systems. They didn't leave. They found humans, and what they saw terrified them. The records showed builder research stations around Earth, carefully hidden, watching human development. The Builders had shaped every other species in the galaxy, subtly guiding their evolution toward peaceful cooperation. But humans were different. They evolved naturally, without interference. The Builders saw their potential and were afraid. Admiral Gray's face hardened as Bluescale continued. The Builders created an artificial barrier around human space, a field that made faster-than-light sensors malfunction, that redirected ships away from Earth. They intended to keep humans isolated forever, but before they could finish, something happened to them. They vanished, leaving their containment system incomplete. That's why we found gaps, Captain Stone realized. Why some colony ships made it through while others went off course. The barrier was failing. Bluescale nodded. But that's not all. When the first human colonies were discovered, some council members found the Builders' old files. They learned why humans had been contained, and instead of revealing the truth, they decided to implement their own plan. He showed records of secret meetings, hidden protocols. The plan was simple. Find isolated human colonies, absorb them slowly, erase their identity. Make them forget they were human before humanity could unite and become a power in the galaxy. It wasn't official council policy, just a few species working together, thinking they were preventing a threat. The council chamber erupted in angry shouts and denials. But the evidence was clear. Star charts showed deliberate patterns of exploration targeting human worlds. Communications revealed coded messages about integration protocols. You didn't just hide us. Gray's voice cut through the chaos. You tried to make us disappear, one colony at a time. Not all of us knew, the council leader protested. Many of these records were hidden even from the council itself. The Builders were wrong, Stone added. They saw our potential for violence and assumed it was all we were. They didn't understand that the same drive that made us fierce in war also made us fierce in protecting peace, in defending others. Bluescale brought up his final images. Human colonies where different species now lived together in peace. Human medical technology saving alien lives. Human art and music spreading through alien cultures. The Builders feared humans because they couldn't control them, he concluded. Those who found their records feared humans because they didn't understand them. But look at what the Thunder of Terra actually did. It protected colonies, minimized casualties, showed restraint. Humans didn't emerge from isolation wanting revenge. They came out wanting recognition. The chamber grew quiet as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't developed in isolation by accident. They hadn't been absorbed into the galactic community by chance. Everything that had happened was the result of ancient fears and modern prejudices. So, Admiral Gray addressed the council. Now we all know the truth. The question is, what do we do about it? The answer would reshape the galaxy. Because now humanity wasn't just fighting for their right to exist. They were confronting the very foundations of how the galactic community had been built. The Thunder of Terra had started as a symbol of human military power. Now it had become something more, a key to unlocking long-buried truths that would change everything. 3 months after the revelation of the Builder's secret, the galaxy looked very different. The Thunder of Terra floated in orbit above the Council capital world, no longer a source of terror, but a symbol of change. Admiral Gray and Captain Stone stood in the Grand Chamber, watching as representatives from every known species gathered to sign the new Galactic Charter. Funny, Stone said quietly, how something that started with fear is ending with hope. The council leader stepped up to the speaking platform. The past months had aged him, but there was new strength in his voice. We gather today to correct the mistakes of the past and build a better future. For too long, we lived under laws created by the Builders, believing their way was the only way. Humanity has shown us another path. Gray watched as the new charter was displayed on the chamber screens. It wasn't just about human rights anymore. Every species would now have the right to maintain their own defense forces. The Council would shift from controlling military power to coordinating cooperation between independent species. The Builders were wrong about humans, the Council leader continued. They saw their potential for violence and tried to contain it. They didn't understand that the same strength that makes humans powerful warriors also makes them powerful defenders. We almost made the same mistake. In orbit, more ships appeared, not just human vessels now, but newly commissioned warships from other species. The Thunder of Terra had sparked a revolution in thinking. Security didn't have to come from a central authority. It could come from each species being strong enough to defend themselves while choosing to work together. Bluescale, now appointed as head of the new Galactic History Commission, stood to speak. We found more builder records. They didn't just fear humans. They feared any species that developed differently from their plan. Their disappearance wasn't mysterious. They left because their attempt to control all life in the galaxy failed. They couldn't accept that different species might find their own paths to peace. The chamber's displays showed new images. Human colonies where the truth had come out, where people had emerged from hiding. But they hadn't sought revenge. Instead, they were teaching other species, sharing the innovations they'd developed in isolation. Human medical techniques were saving lives. Human art was inspiring new forms of expression. Human philosophy was challenging old ways of thinking. The Thunder of Terra terrified us, the council leader admitted. Not because of its weapons, but because it showed us how wrong we'd been. We thought peace came from control. Humanity showed us it comes from strength properly used, from choosing cooperation when you're strong enough not to need it. Gray stepped forward to sign the Charter for Earth. His signature wasn't just a formality. It was humanity's choice to join the galaxy as equals. Not conquered, not absorbed, but standing proud and independent. When we built our fleet, Gray addressed the chamber. We didn't build it for conquest. We built it so that when we finally met other species, we could choose peace from a position of strength. The Thunder of Terra didn't appear to start a war. It appeared to prevent one, by showing that humans couldn't be ignored or erased. The signing ceremony continued as representatives from each species came forward. But something else was happening too. Species that had never dared to question the old system were standing taller. The fear that had kept everyone in line was being replaced by mutual respect. In orbit, the Thunder of Terra's dark hull finally reflected the light of the system's sun. It no longer needed to hide. Like humanity itself, it could finally step into the light, its strength visible but controlled, its power tempered by wisdom. Ready to head home, Stone asked his admiral as the ceremony concluded. Gray looked out at the changed galaxy, at the mixed crews now serving on ships together, At the former colonies where humans were helping their neighbors build better defenses, at the council transformed from a controller to a coordinator. "We are home," Gray replied. "All of us. Together but independent. Strong but peaceful. This is what we were preparing for all along, not to rule the galaxy, but to help make it better." The thunder of Terra's engines hummed to life. There were still colonies to protect, wrongs to right, and bridges to build. But now they wouldn't do it alone. What had started with terror had ended with transformation. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what it needed.